Hello and welcome to Blackshard. This is a test because I've tried to film this darned game multiple times now, and every time I finish filming it, it comes up as a Blackshard file, and it's driving me absolutely insane. But this seems to be recording, so I'm going to try this again and erase the current save again, very painfully. As the last one said, the force of destiny is reality as a whole. It grows, a shining multiversal construct born out of hope and fear. The Maze Chronicles, Ibon 2-10. And the Elder came from the meandering of time. With him came no cohort, no blind and supplicant men, only the emptiness and silence of a world gone. The Maze Chronicles, Gilheim 8-11. This is Blackshard. Ooh. We are walking on a field of bones. Bones everywhere. I hate that I can't take you through my first experience of this game, because it's absolutely immersive and touching in ways. But apparently very hard to film, so this is Blackshard. Man, I have seen this trope done many times. Never done as well as this. This is unsettling. And there's the one lone skeleton of a person reaching toward the light, reaching toward the doorway to get out of this limbo. There's a bit of delay on the camera, so it kind of lends to the dreamlike state. Threshold. Adore how the titles have been done in this. These I'm still torn on. I believe they are teleporters more than save points. They're an instance in time in the maze. Changes in the maze seem persistent. It's not like you can hold down Q and fade back to your save point. It seems you're actually going back to a point in space-time in the maze. So, Q to respawn to the latest witness. I think that's a witness of where you are in space and time. So there. One of my favorite sculptors of all time is named Richard Serra, and Richard Serra does these massive installation artworks that are coils of steel plate. And there's coils of steel plate like they've been drilled out of mild steel and left on a workshop floor, but they're massive. These things are like the size of ships that carry shipping containers. So you really feel the mass affecting you, not so much just in walking through them, but in your inner ear. You feel these sculptures as you walk through and experience them, and it's not just the visual of this rusted iron ship hull sized 12-foot high piece of metal, but it's the experience of walking through it, and the twists and the turns and the maze going through affects you in a deeper way than just visually appreciating it would. And that's what this reminds me of. And this architecture is so human coded. It's so very ancient modern referencing ancient. We've all seen things like this. We've all been to a museum that's similar to this in its walkthrough, and the soft light apertures in the walls, and the chunks of the limestone, or it looks like digitized marble, and the too bright lighting, and the dark spaces, and the overexposure. To me, it feels like being in a modern art museum for the very first time, walking through an empty kind of cement garden liminal space, experiencing a structure. And it's so obviously human architecture, but so very alien coded. What is the form and function of any of this? I'm still a little bit stuck on this logo, the Nunyan text. It seems to be the sign of a door, a gateway, or a pathway through. And I think it's just the pathway through in this one, because there's nothing door-like about this whole area here. Unfortunately, there's no way to go through there. I love the monolith pieces here. With that, it looks so much like this alabaster limestone, and here it just looks like that marble, the black marble. It's polished in parts and dull in others, and it's almost like a travertine. Almost like a porphyry with the fossils imbued in the limestone turning into marble. Alright, what is this? This really is kind of blame or blame the game. That old manga that I don't know how many people experienced it the first time around, but a massive structure in the solar system that just so happens to take up a massive part of the solar system, and very clearly encoded in the design language of what this is, with these massive oversized chain-like structures and that figure in the distance, and this bridge that's a bridge but almost something else entirely. It's like that first gigantic bridge in Halo. It's that pedestal to be out on. Is this loss? All loss? Don't know what that symbol is for, but it is a symbol. The soundtrack is available separately on Steam, and I can see why. Is that a gap? That is a gap. I think it just absolute gap to just fall into the eternities below, if you really were so inclined. I'm not. least not at the moment. I think. Yeah. Oof. There we go. Okay. Up and over. Ooh. That light, man, I have had sinus issues all day, and that light is, it's doing things to me. Oh, that rounded column. Oh, how lovely is that? Just the language of space in this maze is something incredible. And the texture that keeps going. I mean, this is not... It's not incredibly high fidelity, but it's not low fidelity by any means. It's not polygonal. There's so much depth to it. Oh. And there may be repeating patterns here, but look at them go. I always want to just jump down on this rectangular platform there, but I also don't. So the design language in this game, I am just utterly gripped by, and it's giving Ridley Scott, right? It's giving Blade Runner, it's giving amazing megastructure, spiritual experience, to borrow the William James term for the spiritual, the hierophany, the something whole. Look at that light. Something wholly outside the human experience, but very deeply enmeshed within it. Something so not of this realm, not of humanity, but somehow deeply tied with it as well. And this is that design language that we see in games like Destiny. I know I reference it a lot, but some of the Black Fleet and the pyramid structures and the ancient alien architecture in that game was just so beautiful. And you see it kind of reflected in Bungie stylistically in the third Marathon game, in Infinity, where it was grappling with what the idea of being a human meant. And then ship a thesis, if a cyborg is blown apart time and time again and reassembled, what remains? What part of a human cyborg is still a human? Also, look at that static. You who enter the labyrinth, beware. Listen not to the whispers. Do not draw the sign. Do not count the unclean numbers. Pale faces. I love the way the text assembles. Embrace the tyranny of fate. That's just so alien, so deeply human. I mean, this could be a Frank Lloyd Wright art exhibit, but it's so deeply alien. That brutalism and the light, that subtle use of color and the static and the light, or it's just the cool white LEDs everywhere, that cold, high Kelvin count, pale light, and then we've got this greenish glow over here into the universe as we leave. What moth to the fire, hunger to, and the end. It is the last link in the chain of causality, the flame that devours existence and burns the forest of destinies. From its ashes will arise the Yellow King. The Maze Chronicles, Jurgen 1-3. And yes, the King in Yellow very much seems to be some of what's being gone for here. The King in Yellow being a literary device of a eldritch entity, a non-Euclidean. What do they call it in the SCP universe? It's a cognito hazard. The King in Yellow is an entity that exists in the stories told about the King in Yellow. And the King in Yellow comes out of those stories and becomes part of reality by the stories being told about them. As we step away from this gateway into the rest of this amazing art museum maze, and just look at those textures. I mean, the textures are... It's not the highest fidelity thing I've ever seen before, but this is black marble. And it's black marble as contrasted to the limestone and just the travertine-looking marble and the cement, raw, hewn, pressed, polished cement of the rest of this structure. And then you've got that matte finished gold. It's just so lovely. And then we have the light again. And again with the platforming. I've never been a fan of platforms, but I am a fan of games, so kind of de facto have to become a fan of platforming, because every company is going to make you platform, whether you like it or not. At least in this one, we got to climb up the wall and go over and visit these symbolic King in Yellow figures, symbolic human chest bust figures. I don't know that they're all meant to be the King in Yellow, and that reference hit me a lot harder on this playthrough than previously, but it is absolutely a factor. Okay, so let's go through here. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, it's this room. Okay, so let's go through this room. And that sound design really coming in clutch here. You can see why the soundtrack is available on Steam standalone for about $3-4. Oh, look at that. It's giving The Void. It's giving Beyond the Black Rainbow. Beyond the Black Rainbow is one of my favorite movies of all time. For the visuals alone. And for that Space Odyssey 2001 feel and aesthetic. And the Dario Argento brilliant reds against the black and white and primary colors. And the just gorgeous, gorgeous film. And somehow related, Come True. Just a soundtrack by Electric Youth. Pretty little, desolate, horrifying little film. But so beautiful at the same time. And not so little. It doesn't take place in a very small universe as far as world building goes. Just somewhere much like our own, but studying dreams and sleep paralysis. And gosh, I want that to go across. It looks like that was a bridge that broke at some point, or just never fully rendered in this realm. Now, is this a space that's supposed to exist in reality? Are we in a simulation? Or is this a 3D space that is supposed to be part of the real world? It is so much the language of online games, of MMOs, the Hall of the Mountain King here, right? The real geeky, toothy, historical stuff. that we're all exposed to in sci-fi and fantasy and huge open megastructure spaces, castles, keeps, whether it's in science fiction or fantasy. Makes me think of a game mechanic where you'd shrink down and go through that little doorway there. Oh, another one of these biological wave sculptures where it's... I mean, to me, these look like they were sculptures that were supposed to be representative of a tree, evocative of a person, maybe, but so abstract that it fails to hold any real meaning. Go here. And we're above a very, very deep pit. Very, very deep. What is this? I'm tempted to kind of jump down here, but I don't know if I want to jump down there. I feel like I haven't caught a recent waypoint enough to jump down there and see what that is. Because I have come through this maze a number of times trying to, today alone, trying to capture it. For whatever reason, my screen recorder decided to just capture the Steam overlay. So I was absolutely crushed the first time that happened, and then it happened again, and maybe a little less crushed, but still crushed nonetheless. Just put a solid hour into filming going through this place, but I'm still... I wanted to press on, I wanted to come back, and I wanted to film this for you guys because I really wanted to share this experience. I don't know if anyone else is going to care about Richard Serra or ever be a fan of his sculpture work. I don't know if anybody's a fan of your first time at a modern art museum or has any interest in any of that at all, but there's something about this game to me that's just absolutely important in its evocation, in its evocativeness. And oh, this pathway back here. It's speaking, it's so much deeper than just in words. Boy, that just got me really lost, that Twitch glitch while it was loading. No flashlight, no equipment, no loadout. I would almost love to see maps like this used in like a first-person shooter game. So that you could really explore a dungeon crawler. Something where you have other things taking your focus away from the main thing, and it not just being the sole focus of the thing. That's one of the things that Destiny was really good at, is giving you a good, rich story and world building and building a massive immersive universe to be part of and experience, and then decide to take it away and remove content that people had paid for and just take it out of the game so that you could never again have the same exploration experience like this. And it is truly worthwhile to explore something like this in this game. And this is not the cheapest offering on Steam, but I would say it's absolutely worth the experience of the space. And it's something more than just a walking simulator or a walkthrough. There's a lot more to be had in the experiencing of the thing. But I still would love to see more built on top of it. I'd love to see a lot more added to, because there's already so much there, and this team absolutely could build so much more with everything they've got. And I guess we're going downhill. whether or not we wanted to. I don't think this is the way we were supposed to go. I think we're gonna fall all the way down. There we go. This again is so... it's evocative of those frozen waterfalls. Frozen ice flows of waterfalls. And it's stone. I would love even fractional places like this labyrinth to exist, continue to exist in the real world, to be gone through, because they truly are. Thinking of places in Los Angeles and places kind of left behind now, but that I would love to go back to. Look at that. I love the use of gold in this game with that matte, the lighting, the gold, that alabaster texture of that limestone, and then the static. An onyx shard poisons the earth. Assign parasites the decaying flesh of the universe. You who walk the halls of time, beware. Sectors rearrange themselves for arbitrary motives. A shadow waits, a shadow watches. Embrace the tyranny of fate. Kate. Well, this is a drop. Just a drop. And I'm still not sure. I keep catching those reflections. I don't know if that's just an Unreal Engine thing, those artifacts, or if we're supposed to be behind a visor of some kind. Some kind of helmet that we're wearing as the viewpoint character. It's another endless drop. It's another endless drop into the ether and the end of all things. It really is the Hierophany. This is a very much spiritual experience outside of space and time, which I guess you could represent in fiction as kind of alliterative language, poetic language, and here in architecture as shapes and spaces to experience, to walk through, and to be part of. Did we fall? We fell. We fell down. We fell down, we went boom. Let's go back again. I, again, do not like platforming, but every company that puts out a game apparently does, so you gotta just get used to it. Neat thing about this game is you seem to be able to kind of billy goat the walls a little bit and just run on up, which I like a lot because I'm not a big fan of platforming. It's just kind of thrust into every game type now. There's gonna be a platforming element to it, like it or not. It's there. Oh, I love the lighting on this still. That really cool greenish gradient lighting. Oh, look at that. You know, like I said, just the darkness to light gradient flowing in there. I've tried to film this darn thing. This is the third time now, and it's so cool that there's something new I notice every time I go through it. Every single time there's something new that pops out at me. And I miss all the points that I hit in previous videos and stuff that I wanted to kind of compress into one big video and tell all the tales I wanted to in the main video. And it's just not going to happen because there's too much to cover. There's just too much stuff. How do you get up there is what I want to know. Because it looks like there's a prism or something there. It looks like there's something there you can traverse and get up. Or not. You could fall and die and regenerate there. But it looks like something you can get up and surmount. That is so weird. I love coming in out of this doorway to this room and seeing so much more in here. And I guess maybe this wasn't platforming in the way I thought it was. I really thought you'd fall into the light spaces there and just fall and forevermore, but apparently that's not the case. Get me through. Okay, we've gone that way. Have we gone up this hill? That is so weird. Okay. What is this place? It's giving beauty spa. It's giving spa spaces. Got, wow, look at that. There's that same causeway that looks like it didn't fully render in. It looks like it was never fully built in, but there it is. Okay. Here we are again at that humanish tree sculpture structure. And the pit. And the doorway that goes off into nothing. I don't think that doorway goes anywhere, unfortunately. I think we're going to be forced to turn back around. Yep, I think we're gonna get stuck and go back. Maybe? Let's see. I'm gonna have to go back around. Back around. Now, is there a pass through here? I feel like I've gotten off the main path and I'm not really clear how or why. And I don't see any way that I can actually get across here. Unless, okay, so maybe there is a way across. It's just so dark on the edges. I wonder if I shouldn't just adjust the gamma. Look at that. Oh, I think I know where I'm at. So I've come through here before. There's a mock-up down low there that is... It almost looks like a mock-up of the structure we're walking through. But I can't tell if it is or not. And it's miniaturized in the space, and there's like a glass container around it, so you can't jump onto this structure. It looks, when you're walking up to it, almost full-sized, and like you'll be able to walk out onto it, but but that doesn't seem to be the case. It looks like it is just a miniature thing. Every time I come up to this thing here, I want it to be a zip line as it goes off into the distance, and there's another kind of mirrored structure just like it, way off over there. Alright. This is the first time I've been up here after 3 attempts at filming the doggone playthrough. This being the 3rd one, and the other is just capturing the Steam overlay and just breaking my heart when I came out to look at get the intro screenshot for the video that I just did of an hour, and just realizing that none of it was usable footage. It was just an endless chain of me babbling because it didn't record a damn thing. It just had Steam sitting there saying Steam. Not quite sure why that is, but I'll have to be much more careful in the future filming these, unfortunately. Fingers crossed right now that this thing is actually filming. Oh, just the immense, massive megastructure space. This is so blame or blame coded, that megastructure manga that I never read. I never was cool enough in the 90s to be aware of it being out as a thing, and I've only watched like YouTube documentaries on it and later things about it, and experienced it kind of secondhand. Oh, what is this? Again with the 3rd playthrough and the experiencing entirely new areas anyway. Because it does say in the synopsis there are different ways of going through the maze where you'll experience different things. And I guess the experiencing different things is actually seeing very different things. So that is really cool. I like that. That is just such a different view of what we were looking at before. Alright, I guess we've got one of these sort of save points up here to save our progress. Usually we'd be down there on that plane. I don't quite know how to get any further along from up here, but let's see if we can. What a weird space. Alright. There we go. I don't think there's any further way to get across up there. I may be missing something. Just in case, I've got to go back up and see. But I don't think there is a way to actually get across from what I'm seeing. Wow. And there's no crouch mechanic, so there's no way to get through. Crouch down and go through that pathway. Ooh, what's this though? And this is that only way through. This is that only way through over here in the corner. So that must be. Just such a massive experience of space, and I don't know that I had the patience to really outline it, but it is just a massive space, and you can kind of feel it in the walkthrough here, how large of an area you're in. That goes back in the same direction there. Okay, so hold on a minute. Is this a new pathway? It seems like a new pathway here. Oh man. Okay, so yes, that is an actual new divergent way to go. Oh, cool. And like I said, usually this whole walkthrough would be down on that lower walkway platform all the way across there. And it looks like there are just so many different ways you can walk through the same maze and same structures. There are more interactables down there. I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out, considering it is, a completely different part of the maze. But hopefully, that means there's a way through. It's just such a massive space. It's just such a tremendous mega structure to be inside of and be part of that it's just kind of overwhelming. I am really worried about falling down off the structure because I have walked through on those other parts of it, and this is so different compared to those other experiences. Oop. Oh, well, and there we go. Off in the ether. Well, I think that is going to take some doing, and I think I am going to consider this a stopping point right here for this little walkthrough. It's going to take some more doing, and I'd like to get a few episodes out of this if we can, so I can actually show you a few different ways to get through. But I do really, after getting another 45 minutes to do it, I am really getting concerned that it's not actually filming what I think it's been filming, and we haven't captured it yet. So let's find out, and until then, I will see you all Starside.